Hello, welcome to this NE Complete Behavioral Profile. This is going to be like a really extensive extroverted intuition dominant video, and it's going to be based solely on Jung psychological types. I'm going to take excerpts from his book so that we can really determine what are the concrete behaviors of an NE dominant, and then we'll add this exploration of socionics, classical socionics, and like Western interpretations too. So this is really going to be as valid as can be. And then after this more like you could say cerebral intellectual exploration, the next video what I'll do is like a diagnostic guide of extroverted intuition sprinkled with new union MBTI understandings too. And this next video hopefully will be a bit shorter, something you can use quickly to type and identify if someone is NE dominant or not. But this is the beginning, and I'm really excited. I love doing this so much, so I hope you love it as much as I do. Already, when we're talking about an extroverted intuitive dominant, we see an extrovert. If you want to watch my extrovert versus introvert video, I've posted it on my channel. And we also see irrationality, right? So again, if you want to see irrational versus rational, I also did a video with behavioral things. But this is the combination of an extroverted attitude with an irrational function of intuition, and that is what you get. So let's explore Jung and excerpts from his book Psychological Types when he is talking about the extroverted intuitive. So he'll say that there is a certain attitude of expectation, they're expectant, a perceptive and penetrating vision, wherein only the subsequent result can prove in any case how much was perceived into and how much actually lay in the object. Meaning, it's not that they're psychic, sometimes it's just like projections, but because they're into this expectation and perceptive penetrating vision, they may sometimes guess things without like really knowing. Again, something else. By no means a mere perception or awareness. It's also an active, creative process that builds into the object. Okay, so it might be an irrational type, and sometimes we think irrationals are not judgers, so they're not really making decisions, and that's inaccurate. It's creative and it's active. They are making decisions, but it's based on exploring perceptions. The primary function of intuition is to transmit mere images. Images is really key here. So they're transmitting images, or they're transmitting perceptions of relations and conditions between objects, how things are linked. So this could be gained by other functions, either not at all, so it would be impossible to gain through other functions, or only by very roundabout ways. So you can see that a special talent of extroverted intuition, but also intuition in general, is this ability to transmit the images and the perceptions of relations. Such images that they transmit have the value of definite discernments and have a decisive bearing upon action. So here they're taking action, the NE intuitives, based on the images that they see and are able to transmit. That's really what leads their action. Thinking, feeling, and sensation, they're all relatively repressed, right? And especially sensation will be repressed. It will be the one that's principally affected because since the conscious function is intuitive, sensation offers the greatest obstacle to intuition because sensation is realistic, it's in the now, this is what it is, whereas intuition wants to peer behind that. So intuition tries to look beyond, peer beyond the physical superficies, so they will rarely respect sensation. Intuition is fully satisfied only through the awareness of possibilities. Possibilities is a key word for understanding extroverted intuition. When not in the position of priority, it's also the instrument which, in the presence of a hopelessly blocked situation, works automatically towards the issue, which no other function could discover. So again, a special talent of extroverted intuition is seeing solutions or ways to solve problems that no other functions could see. So you can see the brainstorming being really creative, imaginative, and quite, clever would be the word that I would use. Okay, where intuition has a priority, every ordinary situation in life seems like a closed room, which intuition has to open. It constantly seeks outlets and fresh possibilities in external life, and in a very short time, every actual situation becomes a prison to the intuitive. It burdens him or her like a chain, prompting a compelling need for a solution. So you can see the lower sensation here, especially lower SI, right? The routine of just truly building a physical environment, to the NE that is a prison. The extroverted intuitive dominant type will always be present where possibilities exist and has a keen nose for things in the bud, pregnant with future promise. He can never exist in stable, long-established conditions of generally acknowledged though limited value. Okay, so long-established, you could see SI here. You could see the sort of routine comfort, harmony, physical harmony of SI. That's not his thing. Because his eye is constantly ranging, searching for new possibilities, stable conditions prevents him from seeking new possibilities, so they have an air of impending suffocation, like they're losing air. The NE type seizes hold of new objects in new ways with eager intensity, sometimes with extraordinary enthusiasm, only to abandon them cold-bloodedly. You could see the feeling right here is suppressed. Without regard and apparently without remembering, as soon as their range becomes clearly defined and a promise of any considerable future development no longer clings to them. So when something is sort of discovered and there's nothing more to discover, they drop that and go seek something new again. Lower SI again. However reasonable and opportune it may be, and although every conceivable argument speaks in favor of stability, like, look, this is just irrational, or this is just like, just stay here, become stable here, stay a bit. Well, for the NE, a day will come when nothing will deter him or her from regarding as a prison the self-same situation that seemed to promise him freedom and deliverance, and from acting accordingly. So it's not just, oh, I feel trapped. It's also acting by leaving that trap and seeking something new once again. Neither reason nor feeling, because they're repressed, can restrain or discourage him from a new possibility, even though it may run counter to convictions. All right, so thinking and feeling that are indispensable components of conviction are with him or her, the NE dominant, inferior functions. They possess no decisive weight, and so they lack the power to offer any lasting resistance to the force of extroverted intuition. And so consideration for the welfare of his neighbors is weak. There's no solid arguments upon their well-being, so it won't hinge upon their well-being at all. Nothing can detect in him any great respect for his neighbors' convictions and customs. He's often put down as an immoral and ruthless adventurer. I'm guessing that that's just when they're really not developed, but still you could see that. In the professional sphere, they can be merchants, contractors, speculators, agents, and politicians. If they're women, it's often understanding the art of utilizing every social opportunity, and they establish right social connections that can offer possibility. They seek out lovers with possibilities, only to abandon everything again for the sake of a new possibility. If well-intentioned, with an orientation to life that's not purely egotistical, he or she may render exceptional service as the promoter, if not the initiator, of every kind of promising enterprise. So he is, the NE dominant type, a natural advocate of every minority that holds the seed of future promise. So here you could see a social function. And because of this capacity, when oriented more towards men than things, to make an intuitive diagnosis of their abilities and range of usefulness, he can also make men. He's able to see in this man or woman what they're able to do and how they could be useful. And so his capacity to inspire his fellow men with courage or to kindle enthusiasm for something new is unrivaled, right? So here again, you can see his social function of inspiring people. Were he able to rest with the actual thing, he would gather the fruit of his labors, yet all too soon must he be running after some fresh possibility, quitting his newly planted field, while others reap the harvest. In the end, he goes away empty. Isn't that sad? Because he just can't stay still. The NE type can't stay still, so they're starting all these things, right? The serial entrepreneur, you could say. And then other people continue and reap the benefits. And so NE, if they don't learn to stabilize, they sort of get nothing, right? So if we were to put that into like something clearer, right? You could say that the core motivation of any types is a discovery of possibilities, right? They need to explore new paths and ideas and developments. Escape from confinement, they'll feel suffocated by stability. Pursuit of novelty, they're attracted to things in the bud or with potential. Release from the present, they seek freedom from limitations, current conditions, or obligations, and an energetic engagement with change. They're restless and they're really excited about what's new. So, the behavioral traits, well, external behavior would be, you would see with any dominant that they're always scouting for opportunities, either in people or projects. They discard commitments once possibilities seem exhausted. They speak and act with intense enthusiasm for the new. They may jump between interest or people without closure. And they often are seen as adventurous, spontaneous, and idealistic, and they have difficulty settling, often avoiding permanence. So that's something you can clearly see. If you were to like study them and see their internal experience, they would feel very tied to new paths, like it's fated, you know, like they can't do anything else but to follow these new paths. They'll experience really intense desire and urgency to pursue possibilities. They'll suffer if they feel confined or locked in, and they may believe each new idea as like this life-changing insight, so they have to follow it, and they tend to lose interest rapidly once like clarity or sensation is sort of reached. And the emotional patterns, they're detached from the consequences and from others' feelings. They lack emotional grounding, right? They're not grounded into morality. Their loyalty will lie with all ideas, possibilities, visions of the future, not with people and not with the past. And they will seem then cold or callous because they're abandoning others and projects to pursue something new. So you can see a cycle and a pattern here of having initial obsession, then enthusiasm, then detachment. You can see a repeat pattern of like beginning really enthusiastically and then abandoning. And this person can act unknowingly in a compulsive way, like sudden attachments or escapist behaviors. It's a bit rattled. And when they're exhausted, they can become entangled in neurotic fears. That's the sensation that takes on like magical feeling. So they can have health fears or toxic relationships led by the flesh, you could say. And then if you were to see like weaknesses or shadow behavior, well, they neglect present reality. Right? That's not their aim. They're dismissive of others' concerned because feeling, thinking, sensation are all sort of repressed. They have impulsive abandonment. They drop, they go somewhere else. They can rationalize and find loopholes because they'll do anything to sort of find something new. They can have compulsive attachments, become tied to unsuitable people because of that lower sensation. And they can have unstable identity because they always over-identify with a new interest and a new possibility and then drop them. So that can be confusing to them. And so there you go. That's what we can gain from Jung. If you were to ask questions like typing clues, you could say, when you're typing someone, are they NE dominant? Well, do they view life as full of doors to be opened, right? Full of possibilities, the eternal door opener. Do they abandon promising things once they're fully explored and understood? And it may seem irrational, but they're just off somewhere else. Do they act first from inspiration, enthusiasm, vision, and then regret, but just later down the road? Are they more alive in uncertain or emerging situations, right? In the bud, promising things. Do they generate enthusiasm in others, but also show a lack of follow-through? That's a clue. And do they seem sort of possessed by ideas? And it seems like it's the answer to everything. And then they lose interest. Those are cues. So that was NE dominant according to Jung. And this is the foundation of the theory. All right, so we need to sort of respect that, but I think that Socionics does a good job. In certain functions, Socionics will differ a little bit, but I believe there is still a way to reunite and reconcile Socionics with Jung's original work. And then when you have that foundation, you can add some neo-Jungian MBTI things, but I think that this is what's valid. So let's continue. So we'll now explore Socionics. This is classical Socionics, really the first, like by Augusta, is that her name, or Ashra? I never remember, but anyway, classical Socionics mixed with more like Western interpretations. And so here is how they define an extroverted intuition dominant. What they see is potential energy, very aligned. So through this element, the individual receives information about the potential energy of the observed object, their physical and mental abilities. So it can be someone or something. They'll see the potential, right, of people and things. The object's potential energy, their internal content and structure, their internal capabilities. That's what they see. They see something within that can sort of change and be taken out of the object to become something new and more and better. So it's like the program embedded in the object that they're seeing. Object being people, things, whatever. And it's a sense of whether there are hidden internal abilities and capabilities that are present in things. So when this aspect of perception is the leading position, the individual has pronounced cognitive interests. So here there's something added to Jung, meaning that they are sort of intellectual, cognitive, they think, all right? So this is an added thing. They are constantly busy studying profound phenomena, which they quite successfully explain to others by making complicated things simple. Such an individual likes to explain to others what they themselves understood, and in favorable conditions become a scientist or a writer. So here, it's different than the TE or extroverted thinking desire to accumulate information to better work, to better like processes and methods to be more efficient. This is different. NE is simply curiosity of anything new, and there's lots of new things. You're quite liberated in the intellectual cognitive realm, so it would make sense that NE types are sort of geared to that. And there's a link to a desire to inspire others and excite others with these new things. So they want to share what they learned and what they've understood with others because it's exciting. They're able to find optimal ways of increasing the object's potential energy. So it's like the NE dominant person charges others with their own understanding of the surrounding object's capabilities, right? So they're seeing this could do that, this could do this, you could do that. Don't you see it? This is exciting, right? So that's what they're doing. NE is generally associated with the ability to recognize possibilities, to create new opportunities and new beginnings, to recognize talent and natural propensities in others, to reconcile differing perspectives and viewpoints, because they're like all over the place, so they can do that, to rapidly generate ideas, you could say brainstorming, and be led by one's intellectual curiosity and stimulate curiosity in others too. Again, that's sort of like their social function, right? They're opening our minds a bit. They enjoy discussing unusual insights into the nature of the world and crazy out there ideas, like, for example, space elevators. So it's this idea that they can bridge different things together and wouldn't that be cool? And then wouldn't that be exciting? And what if this existed? And so they can have this sort of kooky way of speaking and be like little butterflies, saying things that you would never have thought of. That's the NE power. It's very imaginative and creative and clever. The individual is skilled at generating intellectual interest and curiosity in others and using others' curiosity to get them to do things. So again, it's like it charges others. It gets them excited so that they can accomplish their potential, or they can help the NE dominant type accomplish the potential of a project or an idea or something maybe that's sensation grounded, but that could become something more. And they're preparing for and launching something new is seen as having greater value than the process of experiencing what one already has and finishing what one has begun. The concept of finishing seems foreign to him. So this is something you, and I drop it. This is the lack of SI that seeks to sort of create physical, grounded harmony, something that's comfortable, known, mastered in the physical world. NE doesn't want anything to do with that, so that's their weakness. So here are key, you could say, like additions from Socionics in understanding behavioral profiles of extroverted intuition types. So when you look at the way they think, they'll see potential, energy in people and things. So it's not just possibilities. There's something a bit clearer here where it can be applied to people. You could see like a coach who's like, I see a potential in your talent, I will bring you there, right? It's like untapped power. They'll perceive structure not by what it is, but what could be built. So it's like they're looking inside the sensation thing to see what's the program and where could the program take this sensation thing that's not actually visible now, right? Because intuition isn't visible, it's abstract. So it's like, oh, this could be properly developed. If I put effort on this, it will develop. Communication and social behavior. They'll explain complex things in simple terms. That can be a talent. They can be charismatic while stimulating others' curiosity. You can see that because they're so excited. You'll feel it too. They talk in big picture, idea generating mode. Like they'll love what if talk, what if conversations that are creative. And they'll use curiosity strategically. So it can happen that they'll unconsciously manipulate others' interest to move others in a specified direction. Like, I'll get you interested in this, so you're gonna do this with me and we're gonna make this possible, right? Behavioral signatures, they're motivated by launching, not finishing. They're driven by intellectual stimulation, not completion. They are constantly reframing people and systems, right? Seeing it in different angles all the time. And they'll seek novelty. And it's not for the stimulation, physical stimulation. No, it's for the evolution of things. To let things evolve. That's what they're seeking. And so, if you were to really look at them, you may see the NE dominant types appear as a mentor or an innovator or someone that has great ideas and instigate them. You can see strong and early stage innovation, vision work, the ability to recruit people to like a new idea or a new project. And they're often like, they do many things at once, like a Renaissance person, some sort of polymath, right? And they can think in ways that crosses different disciplines. They merge disciplines together. So, typing clues here. If you were to see, is this person NE dominant? Am I NE dominant? Well, do they often see potential in others before anyone else does? Do they light up when they're explaining an idea, but seem to sort of wander off when they're asked to follow through? Do they constantly reframe situations to find a better angle to approach it from? Are they seeking out environments where nothing is fixed, when nothing can suffocate them, where everything could emerge and change? And do they enjoy talking about odd theories or like futuristic inventions, even if it's impractical or sometimes seem unrealistic? So we're gonna end here. This is the most complete thing you could find on any dominant type, and I hope it was really, really clear. From this, I know that I am not any dominant. I can tell you that right away. That is an amazing profile. And so yes, the next time I do this, I'll do a complete diagnostic guide. It's going to be shorter and it's going to take into account neo-Jungian MBTI interpretations. So if you want to stick to that and know what the diagnostic guide will look like, it will be something easy to use that you can use to type yourself and type other people. That's my aim. But I wanted you to see where it came from. So there you go. So I'll probably post this diagnostic guide either next week, or next week I'll do a neurodivergent thing, and then I'll do the diagnostic guide for any. And then we're going to do that for every function. And probably no one's going to watch this because this is really in depth, but I wanted it to be out there in the world. I wanted to have a valid definition out there, well explored. So thank you very, very much for watching. I truly appreciate it. And I wish you to have a really great day. And I hope I'll see you soon. Once again, thank you. Bye.